Well, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And the true measure of leadership is basically influence. And the question is, at the tail end of our lives, do we have somebody who is following us, somebody who believes in us, somebody who is saying, once I grow big, I would want to follow the leadership or so and so. Now, welcome to Leaders Eat Last series. Last week, we talked about the law of lead, and we said that it is very important for us to be able to increase our capacity to lead others. Now, when we talk about the law of leadership, the law of influence. What we are simply saying that for us to be able to lead and lead effectively, then we must be able to lead. We must be able to increase our influence. But again, we need to say that there are five mates, common theme mates or false beliefs about leadership, and the first one is the myth of management and leadership are the same. There's some people who have always, when they are talking about leadership, they think they are talking about management, and they use those two words interchangeably. But allow us to break this for you and say that management has everything to do with controlling, it has everything to do with maintaining, it has everything to do with force. Managers will control, managers will use force, managers will not create something that is the everything in management is static. In leadership, everything is dynamic. So leadership thrives on creating, on motivating, on persuading people, on building consensus. In management, we don't build consensus. It's either you take it or don't take it, and face the consequences. And what leadership is more interested in is building people and making people go to the next level. Management has nothing to do with that. And so the myth that leadership and management are or the same does not stand. The second myth is what is called entrepreneurship skills make a leader. That is a long, again, view on leadership. Because yes, you can be able to sell things, you can be able to go out there and create a business idea and be able to sell it to everybody. But that again does not make you a leader, because leadership is more than selling, leadership is more than creating. Leadership is always about morale, it's all about timing, it's all about intuition, it's all about these things, which is more than an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur but again fail in leaders as a leader. And we have seen that in many places. Again, there's another myth on intelligence. We think that if you have intelligence then and a strong personality, then you make a good leader. But again, we've also seen that there are some people out there who are very educated, who are genius, and who have a very strong personality. But again, when it comes to leadership, rather, they score very poorly. They just score miserably. And so what we are saying is that leadership cannot be equated with somebody who has intelligence or somebody who have knowledge. Myth number 4 is pioneering, that if you do things fast, then you are a leader. Jumping up fast or seeing opportunities fast, or being able to be the first one to do it does not necessarily make you a leader. Because leadership is more than starting. Leadership is more than pioneering things. It has everything to do with pioneering. It has everything to do with continuity, with growth, with building consensus, with maintaining momentum, with problem solving, with keeping the team together. The whole issue of cohesion, and so the whole issue of pioneering does not stand. And then finally, its position. We have a crop of people who believes that where you sit is very important. That if you sit in a very important seat, then that means you are a leader. And no wonder a lot of leaders today would always fight on where to sit. That's why the seat of the most important person is always special. And I think our president, the current president, for him is a non-issue. When the musician, I think it's Bahati, sat on his chair, and the young man was condemned. For the president, it was nothing. He said whether he sits there or does not sit there, it's a non-issue. And I think he must have borrowed from this mate that where you sit is not the most important bit. Leadership is not a position that you sit. You can sit at the front, you can sit behind, you can sit in the middle, and still be a leader, because leadership is all about influence. Now we need to ask ourselves, now that we are talking about leadership is very important. The question then we are asking is, how can you increase your influence? Because we've said leadership is all about influence, nothing more, nothing less. And that when you lack leadership influence, when you lack influence, the ability to persuade, the ability to inspire hope, the ability to I mean the we being able to pull people so that they can come to your direction, the ability to rally people to your direction. If you miss, then that you are not a leader. And so what are some of the factors that can help increase your leadership influence? Number one, it's character, who they are. Leaders are able to increase their influence by their character. Somebody said, and we read that the true leadership always begins with the inner person. That you don't attract the people you want, you attract the people who you are alike. You attract the people that are like you, who believes the same belief, who subscribe to the same habit. And I think it is very important for us to be able to see that character is very important. And being credible is very important. And we've always said that it is very important that we remember that integrity is what keeps you there. Charisma takes you up there, but it is character that keeps you there. And it is very important for a leader to be able to have a good character, a godly character, a holy character. Because when the inside of you has a problem, then what you're going to eject, what you're going to emit to the people is going to be something that is different. And people are going to follow you, or you're going to attract the kind of people based on your character. So if you're a thief, you attract thieves. If you are useless, you attract useless people. If you're godly, if you're honest, if you're hardworking, if you are passionate, if you believe in excellence, those are the kind of people that you're going to attract. And so our character comes and increases our influence or decreases. Number two is all about relationship. Relationship says who they know. Who do you know? you know a leader must be able to develop relationship, and must be able to build networks, and must be able to maintain relationship. And the deeper the relationship we are saying, then there's the stronger the potential for your leadership. If you're able to build honest relationships that are not based on mistrust, that are not based on abuse and suspicion. When you build relationship as a leader with others, then they are able to come and give you loyalty. When you ask for their hand, it is very easy for them to extend their hand, because you have a relationship. We need to say it because it is very important. The people will not follow you. People will not give their hand if they have not known you. And it is very important for us to be able to develop what we call our social capital. That is the ability to relate with the people, the ability to affirm people, the ability to make people feel good. That when people are around you, they feel comfortable, they feel great, they feel like winners. And so the second character or trait that increases, or the second factor that increases influence is not only character but again relationship. The number three is knowledge, what they know. Information is always very important. Information will be able information on people's aspiration, on people's limitation, on people's frustration, on the challenges that people are going through. Those that form of information is very important to a leader. And wherever that you are new in an organization, you really need to know a lot of things. Why did they put up the fence? Why did they pull up the fence? Where are they going? What are some of the challenges? What are the success have they been able to achieve? And it is very important for you to be able to do your groundwork such that you are able to understand how things have been running. Who's caused the shots here? Who should I avoid? Who should I relate with? Knowledge will be able to help you to increase your influence. People will disrespect you, and people will not follow you if they find that you are naive, that there is nothing that you know about the organization. Now, the fourth thing that increases influence is what we call intuition, what you feel. Leaders need to recognize that influence is increased when you are able to ascertain, and you're able to say that the energy in this organization is low, when you're able to identify that morale is a problem, when you're able to sense timing, that this is not the right time to move, and when you're able to say the momentum to take us to the next level needs to be raised up. And these are intangibles, these are things that you cannot be able to know. And it is very important for a leader to be able to understand that intuition, what you feel. As a leader, there is the feeling that you are able to say, okay, I don't know, but I feel this is not the right time. It's not the right time to share this idea. It's not the right time to launch. It's not the right time to open a business. Actually, this time we need to be slowing down. This time we need to reflect. This time we need to change this product line. So and so is not doing things right. He or she needs to be shown the door. Number five, another factor that actually increases our influence is what we call experience, where they have been. For a leader who have gone through lots of challenges in the past, that means when that leader is given an opportunity, more followers would want to believe in him, and more followers would actually give him the opportunity. And one of the things that we've never realized is that when we go through challenges in life, they make us better. They make us to be more sensitive, to be more effective, and to basically to mature up. And what we are saying here, challenges actually shape us. They actually make us to come out as wonderful leaders, as effective leaders, and as mature leaders. And so experience actually increases our influence. And then number six is past experience. And past experience, we say what they have done. What is it that you've done in life? What project did you move successfully? What product have you launched and launched them successfully? Who have you mentored? What are some of the successes under your belt that you can present before people? Look at David. David told King Saul, and he told him, "Hey, Mr. King, I have fought bears and lions, and I've killed them, and that is where I've been. I've been successful. I've been able to start a small startup, and the business has come up successfully." Those success stories that you've done, are actually increases your influence on the people. And then and I think that is very important. So we are saying character. We are talking character says who they are, relationships, who they know, knowledge, what they know, intuition, what they feel, experience, where they've been, past successes, where they have what they have done. And then number seven is ability, what they can do. It is very important that And this is the bottom line. Leadership is all about what you can do. Can you make a decision? Can you convince people? Can you be able to meet target? Can you be able to influence people? Can you put people in a cohesive mood? Can you be able to develop people? The whole question is all about ability, what they can do. And so the seven factors that actually influences leaders influence, we take them again: character, who they are; relationships, who they know; into knowledge, what they know. Relationships is who they know, knowledge is what they know, intuition is what they feel, experience is where they have been, past successes is what they have done, and then ability is what they can do. A good example of somebody who was influenced is Joshua. Now, and when we look at Joshua, who was a protege of Moses, actually his personal assistant, we see he began very poorly. He began as a non-influential leader. He was not able to make a lot of influence. But again, under the tutorage of Moses, he was able to mature up and was able to come up as a very good leader. And we can give two or three examples of how Joshua, under the tutorage of Moses, and once Moses was out of the way, how he was able to assume and fit and lead Israel effectively. Number one, his influence grew because of his relationship with Moses. It is very important for us to realize that Moses and Joshua were always together. They did things together. They read the people together. They were criticized and challenged by people. And there was no single time when we see Joshua running away from Moses. They were always together. And you see, the relationship between Moses and Joshua is one that is guided not by respect and trust. It was something that was devoid of suspicion and witch hunting. They loved each other, they esteemed each other, and even more importantly, for this country, we see Joshua knew his position, he knew himself, and he actually carried his responsibility as a personal assistant to to Moses, who was the leader. And I think there is always a mistake when, as a personal assistant, you kind of lie to yourself that you are the boss. You are not the boss. You need to wait for your time to be the boss. And I think the second thing is that his influence grew because of his patience. Moses waited for his time to be declared the leader. He did not hasten to be the leader. He did not try to make Moses to be bad so that he can assume leadership. But actually, he had all the patience in the world to be able to ascend into position of power. And it is very important for us to be able to say, when we lack patience, when we seem to be in a hurry to inherit your boss, when you seem to be in haste so that you can be the next to be the senior pastor, so that you can be the chairman, one of the things that you lose at your expense is influence. And so even for the political class, we can tell them with no fear of contradiction that it is very important for you to be able, much as you criticize, much as it is important for you to point the government the mistakes that the government is doing or your senior is doing. It is always very important for us not to show ourselves as if we are in a hurry to inherit the boss. And then again, of importance is that Joshua, grew his influence or increased his influence because he was consistency. What he said when he was 40, it was a very same thing that he said while he was in 80s. And I think the moment when we don't keep on changing goalposts, when we remain the persons that we are, because Joshua became a man of conviction. He became somebody that was consistent all along his life. He never changed goalpost. He was not a chameleon. And when followers know you as a chameleon, one who takes sides, one who is easily influenced, one who lacks stand, one who is not principled, then they are not going to respect you. Your influence upon them will be very low. And then of importance again is that Joshua had influence because because of the whole issue of timing. You know, he waited, and I think it is very important for us to say he timed his leadership when Moses was out of the way. So that is all about the law of influence, where we say that the true measure of influence, the true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. That was Leaders Eat Last series, and we encourage you to keep on following us. Kindly, by the way, you need to subscribe to our social media platforms, whether it's Telegram, whether it is YouTube or TikTok, whatever it is. The name is John Kimani. My name is John Kimani. Remember what we always say here, inawezekana. Have a blessed night.